Righty, good Woch. What's the Shabbos of Pashas Vayera? An interesting point about the Parsha that we read today, and that is that the Malachim came to Avram Avinu and he fed them. He gave them food. Now, the Medrash says that these angels that came to Avram Avinu and ate by him because they consumed human food, they were unable to return to their place in Shemaim. Two of them until the days of Yaakov Avinu, when Yaakov Avinu sleeps and has the famous dream of the ladder, and here are the angels of Hashem going up and down in it. This was when the two of the angels that ate by Abraham Avinu were able to get back to Shemaim. The third one was actually unable to get back for 500 years. He went up again. He went up at the days of Manoach, when he came to announce to Manoach and his wife that they're going to have a son, Shimshon a Gibber. And he came to the woman and told her that she should abstain from any foods that are forbidden to a nazir, to a hermit. Cannot drink wine, cannot eat any grapes or anything that comes out of the vine, and so forth and so on. Has to be stay away from defilement, especially from defilement of mace of a deceased. And when they're done, the father, Manoach, tells the angel, he invites him to eat. And then he said, once was enough. He had to wait for 500 years to go back. And they sacrificed a lamb to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he went up with the flame. Then he went up back to Shemayim. So Ibn points out very poignantly, why did Avraham Avinu gave the Malachim food? Food is the ultimate purification process in this world. Later on, it says when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to the Shemaim to receive the Torah, the Malachim wanted to hurt him. It says, how can people that are so physical, so gashmistic, can receive the Torah? Give it Nahoitcha l'Shamayim, give you a splendor upon the heavens, let the Malachim receive the Torah. So when they wanted to hurt Moshe Rabbeinu, Kodesh Baruch Hu transfigured the form of Moshe Rabbeinu to look like Avraham Avinu. And he said, aren't you embarrassed, to speak derogatorily of him? You ate by him. Avraham Avinu was right after the act of circumcising himself, doing the first mitzvah in the Torah. This is the beginning of the glimmering of Matan Torah that will happen at 400 years later. He already accepted, he already performed the first mitzvah. The Malachim came to him. And he knew he wanted to protect his offsprings, Am Yisrael, from the defamation of the angels. And would say, don't give it to people, they will sin. And he wanted to show them what a person A lowly, wretched human being has to go through in this world in order to make it, in order to have Kodesh Baruch Hu reveal himself to him. He has to perform purification from a body that processes food literally. It also says a place of, excuse me for saying, from vomit and feces. That's what food is. And from there, you have to purify the body and come to the Madrega, to come to the Shemaim. The Malachim couldn't do it. When he says, okay, go ahead and you eat. And you see, it takes 2 generations for 2 of them to come back up and 500 years for the 3rd one to go back up. And every Jew, every human being needs to do it on a daily basis all the time. He wanted to show them Malachim, take a look at yourself. How dare you degrade the Jewish nation and say they're not deserving to receive the Torah? Adabah, exactly the other way around. Because they have to work from such a place of really low physicality, there's no way they will ever be able to do it unless they have the Torah. The Torah is the only way it can be done. And this is what Avraham Avinu showed the Malachim. So, just a little point of the Parsha that we learned today. We'll continue with Hashem to speak of the Baal Shem HaKodesh. You know that there is a great Inyan to mention his name and say stories of him on Motzei Shabbos. It's a brach into Shabbos. The learning today is dedicated Hashem to that tzlacha of the marriage of my granddaughter Miriam Chava, that Hashem, with her prospective husband Shmuel Isaac. The best Hashem will take care. It happened that Hashem this week on Tuesday evening. I'm sorry. So it says as follows: the Baal Shem HaKodesh. I don't know what the source is for this. It says the Baal Shem HaKodesh, when he would say Hallel or Chodesh or whatever, on every pasuk of the Mizmer, he wouldn't say it until he saw the angel and heard that angel singing that pasuk, and then he would say that pasuk together with the angel. And he was full with the Havas Hashem and Niras Hashem and complete Midas Tevis, Chasidus, and humbleness, and Havas Israel. And the Rebbe Melech from Nizhensk said that all the madrigas that were said about the Ariya Kodesh, everything the Baal Shem Tov had, and much more. And really, whatever was written about the Ariya Kodesh is really like a drop in the sea of what the Ariya Kodesh actually had. In fact, Rav Nosson says about Rabbeinu Nachman, he says, if whatever is said in Shivche Arizal, if that's the only thing that Arizal had, he says from Rabbeinu we saw more. In other words, there was a lot more by Arizal, and a lot more in the Baal Shem Tov, and a lot more by Rabbeinu HaKodesh. It says, "De'at tzadikim l'Reb Shimon bar Yochai and Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh," that even though their nefesh was burning in an amazing magical fire, they had a total bitul. They completely subjugated themselves before everyone of Am Yisrael. And with this, they will cancel all the verdicts. It is said that once the holy brothers, Rebbe Melech of Lizhensk and his brother Rebbe Zusha, they came to a forest and they saw Eliyahu Novi together with the Baal Shem HaKodesh standing before a mountain of burning fire. Eliyahu Novi is taking a piece of fire and giving it to Baal Shem Tov, and Baal Shem Tov was throwing it up to the heavens. And the sparks of fire went up to Shemaim, and some of them fell down back to the earth. And the holy brothers asked Eliyahu Novi, what is this? Who is this person that is next to you, and what is he doing? So Eliyahu Novi told him, this is the Baal Shemtov, and the pieces of fire are the neshamas in the world. And now I'm giving it to him, to the tzaddik, and he rectifies them, and he brings them up to where they come. And those who believed in him are getting back in the Shemaim, and those who don't fall down back again. And it's also Kabbalah and B'yad Tzadikim. The Baal Shem HaKadosh was from these neshamas that escaped Adam Harishon before he sinned in the tree of knowledge and didn't even taste from that tree at all. This is Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the Baal Shem HaKadosh. It is not feasible for anyone to perceive the stature and the greatness, of course, of Baal Shem HaKadosh or any tzaddik. Any tzaddik is a quantum leap from somebody who is in the law of Madrega. There's no way to know. How much more so, we're talking about tzaddikim that they're almost like a different species. It's like Chazal said, the first generation of Tanoim were like akin to angels, then we are akin to people. But at the first generation, the Tanoim were akin to people, they were considered people, then we are considered donkeys, which means the difference in stature is it's a 1,000 donkeys don't make one person. So 1,000 people in this generation don't make one tzaddik of a previous generation. They don't make 1,000 of those don't make, and so forth and so on. How much more so when we're talking about Baal Shem HaKadosh, Schusa Tagen Aleinu. Let's take, B'ezrat Hashem, a quick look at Sichos Haran for this week. And here we go. Hold on. Let's see. Where's the Sichos Haran? Okay. I don't see this. Hold on. I think that I did not do it right. Hold on just one second. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Very interesting thing. Rav Nosson says, I saw in the Sefer of Likutei Moharan one issue, one inyan that wasn't yet printed. Listen to this. He said, you should know that every generation there are new illnesses, they come up in that generation. And it is said, Yosef Das, the more knowledge you have, Yosef Machov, that the afflictions, the pains grow as well. He says, in other words, from every generation that comes, since that generation is growing, the sciences and the philosophers in every generation, they come on new sense and new discoveries. This is adding new diseases, Achmon Litzlan, that did not exist before. One of the things that we've been learning when we learn Likutei Moharan is the symbiotic connection between basically everything that a person does and the universe at large and his own physical universe, as it were, within. The most important lesson that we need to learn from this is not to take lightly every single aspect of whatever it is that we do. Is it science, humanity, the modern humanity, swears by scientific progress and everything else. Here Rabbeinu is telling us that really what is happening is that the more they discover, the more diseases come. There is a direct connection between what's happening in the world, and the level of emunah, the level of faith that generation have. The less emunah generation has, the more afflictions come. People think, they'll give Nobel Prizes, here we're so advanced, we're so this, we're so that. Basically, the diseases are only rotating. They change, don't go away. Everything that we believe in, everything that we hold of, the thoughts that we have in our head are influencing the world and us. I am personally, the thing that now in Israel there's a whole hoopla about the chief military attorney general that was caught trying to cover up and lying to the high court, and whatever it is going on. And this is mixing up the attorney general of the government, is fighting the government. Truth be told, to me, all this doesn't make a difference at all. The thing that really impresses me is that these people from the Attorney General's office are fighting against Torah Judaism, not because they know what it is, but because they want to fight the government and they want to fight the prime minister. So they're using the Torah Torah people as a tool to hit the government with, to make it impossible. Then was this big get together of I don't know how many hundreds of, tens of thousands of people. There were close to 250,000 people or whatever that came to daven in the entrance to Yerushalayim. Whatever it is happening now with the Attorney General happened that day. It started on the day. In other words, it wasn't even the next day. Am Yisrael comes together. Am Yisrael davens to Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Torah jury is crying out to Hashem, and immediately Kodesh Baruch Hu is taking action. Zat Hashem, Kodesh Baruch Hu should help us all. That first of all, we'll take strength and solace from the fact that we look at our lives, we look at what it is we accomplish, that is which we're not able to accomplish. And we say, this is so pathetic. But Avraham Avinu with the Malachim teaches us, we are working with both our hands tied behind our backs in a world that the Malachim cannot possibly succeed in. The second thing is that without Torah, we cannot do it. And the third thing is that the answer is not in science. The answer is in emunah, is in tefillah. Which Baruch Hu Hashem should bless us with a wonderful week, a week full with emunah, full with salvations and deliverance, and B'ezrat Hashem health, and well-being, gashmis and beruchnis. B'ezrat Hashem. This Shabbos was a yahrzeit of Avel Cheshin, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, my teacher. Just all fantastic things. And this year is B'ezrat Hashem dedicated to the Tzloch, as I said before, of the marriage of my granddaughter Yetz Hashem this week. B'ezrat Hashem will all hear more good news and more good news and more good news. Cultivate a great week, B'ezrat Hashem. Tzloch Rabo.